November 12th, 2020. About 7 o'clock in the morning. I gotta go change out a boiler today. It's that boiler that had that leaking tankless. The rubber was leaking really bad. The boiler's probably 23 years old. And I have tried changing them gaskets before on older boilers, and a lot of times the bolts will just snap and then you're kind of screwed. So when they're all like that, I won't touch them bolts. I'll just replace the boiler. That's a job for a young whippersnapper that wants to take a chance. I kind of go for the short thing. So I had a comment, so you should just change it. It just cost them a couple $100. No, if you go there and you snap all the bolts and then you can't drill and tap them right, it could turn into a real shit show. I've had that happen to me before a few times. So when a boiler's old and the coil, the tankless is leaking, they get a new boiler or they have someone else do it. That's my theory. I've been down that road before. It's not my first rodeo. But anyway, he's going to change the boiler out, going back with the same kind of boiler, Peerless rear flue. So I'm gonna put a new expansion tank, new water feeder. I'm gonna keep all the circulators and control. Everything's going back the way it was. Perch stations are all gonna stay there. I might just add couplings back, and hopefully everything goes back together the same way. It's the same. Should be really close. The boiler should be pretty close to the same as what the other one was. But I have, 45s and elbows and whatnot fittings I need to put it back together. Gotta do the tankless. This one comes with a tankless. So I'll try to get you guys some shots. I left the dog home today. Got my speedy dry there. So it's 7 o'clock. I'm thinking hopefully I'm done by 2, 3 o'clock. Second delivery of the day. So I'm gonna get there an hour and a half early and rip and tear and get the other one all disconnected and whatnot. So that's the deal. Going with a new boiler. I worked for these people for a lot of years, so I know them. I think I gave him a good price on the replacement for it, so. Hates 35, that should be the one. It's off. She's coming out. Look at all the hangers and everything. What about the supply? Yeah, the supply's got a hanger too, so I'll be able to cut all this stuff. The tank's gonna be changed, new feeder. I'm gonna reuse this piping if I can. Looks like 1.25 inches. Reuse what I can. I got a new damper coming, maybe smoke pipe if I need it. I'm gonna reuse this control and all this stuff, so I gotta get cranking on this shit. From Bank off the tankless. Alright, I got it out. 1, 2, 3 of them broke right off. And the reason they break off, they're not hardened. There's no hash marks on them. They should be. They just put these wimpy ass. That's why I changed the boiler, because this thing, look at this thing. You gotta try drilling, tapping them out, and sometimes you can't, and it's just a shit show. Been down that road before. I'm gonna cut this and save this. This is the tankless coil. I'm gonna save this for my scrap pile. It's all disconnected. Got everything disconnected over here, just laying out of the way. It's all gonna go back. Should be the same boiler. I'm gonna strap up the smoke pipe there, and I'm gonna go new T all the way down. T and elbow back in the back. Reuse all this stuff, put all this stuff back. Ain't easy being cheesy, mama. Ain't easy being cheesy. Got it all disconnected, ready to go. I'll grab it right from the side here and take it right out. Take it right out the stairs with the power machine cart. Bring the new one in, put it right there, boom. I want to measure off this wall. Basically, the back is to the back of them blocks. Alright, I got the new one up and running. I put a new swing check because the other one was all pitted and kind of leaking. And couple and a T. Coming out ½ inch. Came all the way back to here. I had to repipe all that. On the supply, I just put a coupling right there. I reused everything that was there. New high vent. New expansion tank, new high vent on the air scoop, new 911S feeder. I put a new flow check here on this one here because it was all corroded, so that's been changed. New small pipe elbow T and draft damper. I left the rest of it. It's alright. On this, this nipple, street elbow, and T came with the boiler and the boiler drain, and I just reused this riser, and I reused all this stuff. I just put everything back, remounted the box and the wiring where it was. It's got all the zones we're calling. The third one she must have dropped out, but it's all back together. It's all running. Got no leaks. I would have did more video, but I just had to get it done, so I didn't have time to do video on it. But I did tighten up all these. See, the problem is on these bolts, they're not good. They're not high grade bolts. They just snap. They should be, you know, the ones with the 6 lashes, grade 8. Grade 6 or grade 8 bolts is what they should use, but they use the cheap ones. So I did snug that all up. It's nice and tight, got no leaks. I made sure all the heat was working. This is all back together. This is coming, it's getting nice and warm now. I drained that whole tank down to work on it. Everything's back up and running. I had to put a cap on it because it was dripping. Typical. I did put this strap here so this don't pop out, because it had a tendency to want to pop out. Put that strap there. And fired it up and she's off and running, mama. Not easy being cheesy. I gotta pick up the rest of my stuff and get out of here. Put a new draft damper in. I don't know if I'm going to leave the old burner here or not. Probably not. This is a Taj Mahal. I probably won't leave the old burner here. Seven to 2, whatever that. 7 to 2. That's how long it took me. Anyway, I would like to have gotten more footage, but I got other stuff I got to do today, other jobs I got to get done, so I really couldn't film much of the boiler thing, unfortunately. But I show you what I changed, and I did I had to redo all that tankless coil over. A lot of that stuff had to be lowered down, and a new check valve. I put a new flow check up for one of the upper floors that was all corroded and green and nasty from... They must have had antifreeze in there at one time. New 911S, a new expansion tank, new high vents. I mean, the circulators, I could have changed all them, but they're still working fine. We'll leave them alone for now. I mean, put the new burner in there, and got a brand new boiler there now. So... Now Now the other boiler did make up with the tankless. It wasn't leaking, but the guy wanted to change the boiler anyway because it was leaking before when it was shut down, and when it was off, it was leaking like crazy. So he didn't like that because I think it let loose in the middle of the winter and you're screwed, right? So the homeowner wanted the boiler replaced. He seen it leaking. We did turn up the high and low limit, so the boiler stayed hotter and it made up. But I showed you what happened. Those bolts, they're not high-grade bolts. They just snap right off. And then you got to try drilling and tapping them. A lot of times it'll walk on you. It won't work right. They'll leak like crazy. I mean, you've seen the face was all rotted on that thing too. Old boiler like that, I won't touch a gasket. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Guys that do that are inexperienced and dumb. Gotta pick your battles, mama. You only do things that are pretty much a guarantee. Sometimes you gotta take a chance, but I'm not taking a chance on a boiler like that. You go and screw it up, now you gotta get the guy a new boiler. You gotta fix it for him. You're gonna be eating the shit sandwich on that one. Be eating the shit sandwich. Well, it's done for the guy. I'll send him a bill.